Sparkles on treasure.
Have you ever asked yourself why education and what value does it add to us? Now, Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon that we can use to change the world. My name is Treasure and you're welcome to another episode of Sparkles with Treasure. And on this episode, it promises to be very educative and very exciting as I have in the studio with me two gentlemen who will be telling us or will be discussing on the topic education and certificates.
Humphrey Uguroko is a fourth-year student in Sumi State Medical University. He is a Nigerian and holds the position of Director of Sports for the Nigerian Students Association. He is also the Vice President of Association of Catholic Students and General Secretary of the El Gabata Student Fellowship. Mr. Olasiji Olaleye is a graduate of Harkov National Medical University. He is a drummer by virtue of giftings and passion. He also is the CEO of Olinos, a corporate clothing brand, and also a stylist by nature. He is a Christian by birth and choice, a happy guy who likes to make others laugh.
Hello guys, how are you? How are you doing, gentlemen?
Doing great. Thank you.
You're looking good.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming to the studio with me to discuss on this topic, education and certificates.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
And the first question I want to ask is, why education?
All right, I think we should go first.
Okay. I'll try to be as plain as possible. Okay. Simply put, the very aim of education is to achieve two things: give credibility and ability.
Okay.
Education is a system that is set up for people to acquire knowledge. So it has a purpose to give people the necessary information and know-how that they require to go about a certain profession or a lifestyle, or to how to handle the society. So education for me aims at two things: credibility and ability.
Credibility and ability.
Well, I think I'm probably going to choose to differ a little bit. Reason is because I feel you just described the flip side of this now. There's education versus your certificate. Mm-hmm. So I think what you just described now is your certificate as opposed to education. You get what I'm saying? Because I mean, I think like the school system that we have to attend, go to classes just to get a degree is how I viewed the certificate. Now, education from my own point of view now has to do with, I mean, the extra abilities or tools you have at your disposal to harness whatever it is the certificate is earning you. You get what I'm saying? So say for instance, a certificate is probably going to earn us all basic life. I mean, we go to school, we might be 10 in the class and we all go to medical school. We become 10 medical doctors. But then, I mean, education in the real essence of what it means is what guarantees that 2 of us might become very rich doctors and the remaining 8 might just be basic guys. So for me, I always choose to want to think education is the extra, the little, or the abilities you have to flip around what has been given to you in raw formats. A certificate, going to school is just what society and government does for us to make sure that there's maybe less criminals on the streets. You have to pass through a certain system that justifies, like you said now, it justifies and guarantees you that you have a job, you have a good life. Yeah. But then I think education is you having to learn every other thing outside of what you're doing, harnessing your natural abilities, harnessing, I mean, the things you have a passion for as regards your certificate. So it means I could be a medical doctor and then I've learned some kind of street things. And then while you're hoping on the government to be paying you your basic, I have this very posh 5-star private hospital.
But would you say that, okay, for me, like the question, why education? Okay, is it a necessity?
Education is a necessity for everybody.
Really?
Yeah, I think it is.
But we know a lot of people who are rich and
they are educated. They don't have to go to school to get educated.
Okay, so what you're trying to say, which goes to my second question, can one have a certificate and not be educated?
I'll still let him go first on that.
I think he's setting me up.
Yeah.
Because he
So
allows
right
me.
No,
now,
I'm not setting you up. No,
He should
just
go
because.
Okay, now I love
okay,
it. So,
okay. I'll go first.
yeah, so tell
Sorry,
me.
what's the question again?
Can one have a certificate and not be educated?
Of course, very true.
Okay.
It happens these days. Like I said earlier, we might both go to medical school, and then there's maybe certain culture, etiquettes, things that the school necessarily wouldn't teach you. Okay, I found what I was looking for now. So, in my opinion, I think education is how you deal with life, not necessarily what you learn at school.
Okay.
The school gets to teach you how to be an economist. They don't teach you how to deal with the real economic issues of life, which means you could actually go to school to learn economics and not even know how to manage money in real life.
Yeah.
You might actually go to school to do banking and finance and not know how to apportion money on stuff you have to do personally. You get what I'm saying? So you could actually go to school and still be an idiot. There's people that go to school and finish with God forgive me for that word. There's people that go to school and finish with like
God forgive you
first
for
class,
that word.
and then I know people like that who go to school, finish with first class, can't speak proper English,
Yeah.
no basic etiquette, they don't know how to dress, they don't know how to look good, they don't even know how to represent themselves enough to defend their first class from school.
Okay, if you're just watching and you just joined us, this is Olena. So if you need to know how to dress, of course, it's
No.
he's speaking for
Not
himself.
exactly. Not exactly.
Okay, so what do you think about that?
I think in this sense now we'll have to look at education from various perspectives. There is
Okay.
the formal and informal education. And rightly, like he said, what formal education does is it gives you the tools that you need to think. It doesn't exactly make you or mar you, it gives you the tools. I like the example he gave. There are people who have graduated and still cannot defend. In the beginning, I said credibility and ability. Credibility is the certificate you're graduating with. Now, when you finish a certain era of education, nobody really can defend you. Your certificate speaks for you.
Okay.
But what keeps you in the system, in the society that we live in, is your ability. And that is what education gives over certificate.
Your
So,
knowledge.
well, you have to look at, and then you said, is it possible for someone to have certificates and not be educated, or is
Yeah.
it the other way around?
No, is it possible to have a certificate and not be educated?
Yes. There are a lot of certified individuals that are not educated. Let me put it
What
that
would you
way.
call them?
They just have certificates. I
In the
think.
context of education that we're considering, of course, you can't consider them educated. Say what a guy finishes maybe with a first class from University of Liverpool, and he can't even talk to you properly as a gentleman. Gentleman's a lady, he can't even talk to you.
I get you.
She's trying to say hello. It's like psst, psst. It's disgusting. Come on, you're not educated with all the degree you have. I mean, that's messed up.
And then, okay, there's this question I want to ask. What would you say is the consequences for being in school and not being educated? Because, okay, like you said, a guy wants to talk to me, and I don't know what happens, because we have a lot of African people who went to school and they come out and they can't get a good job because they went for the practical side of school. Okay, let me talk about doctors. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical student at all, but I hear that they go back to Nigeria and they can't write the exam. I want to understand, is that, just explain it to me, because okay, it's something I've always wanted to ask. What's it
Well,
about?
I think that's a more personal question. The school is going to give you what the school can afford to give to you, but then the school is not responsible for whether or not you learn what you're supposed to learn. There's a timetable. You go to classes, you finish classes, you have your test, you do your modules. If you pass, you move on. If you fail, they ask you to retake it until you pass it. So all the school is concerned about now, so like he said now, you see, all the school is concerned about is you passing the exams. They are not so concerned about whether you really know it, because according to them, they think they want to judge whether you know it from you passing the exam. But now let me give you another candid example of the question you just asked now. For instance, if I have a company and I needed to employ maybe say what, a sales rep, and there's this guy that comes from University of Buckingham, and then he's speaking British English, I'm Hakim Lawal, blah blah blah, and then you can't even sell me a cup. But then there's this guy that finishes from Unilag. This guy comes in, he's not too well spoken, but at least he can speak well enough for me to understand. And then the guy can actually sell, the guy sells me my company in my presence. So now who do you think I'm really going to hire? I need the guy who went to school and has the street sense. I don't need the guy who went to school, sucking, sweets for how many years, and then you come out and I'm like, okay, I came out with a first class and I'm from England. Nobody cares about that stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it boils down to all that we've been talking about.
Okay.
You're unable as an individual who is not educated but went through the school system. You're unable to display what is
Agree.
demanded of you
From
by the
society.
society. You're unable to defend the certificate that you're carrying around because it's like you said, it's really awful that you present something that gives an impression and then the mind behind it cannot really live up to the standard. And that is when we don't have people who are graduates but are not doing anything. For me personally, I think the school equips you to think different. You gave an example about doctors. I can't speak for them, but what I think is the case for most of them is that, I don't know, there are some of them who have actually passed the exams and are still looking for work. The advice I give to those that are close to me is that education is just a platform. Think different. You know that a lot of Nigerians are going to be cardiologists when they finish. You know that the neurology aspect of medicine is free. You know that this aspect is free and this is free, and you know that Nigeria needs this. But we are all going into that cardiology. At the end of the day, those that will get it will get, those that will be at home will be at home.
No, but
I don't know.
but then in the context of what we're saying again,
Okay.
education, what would be the point being educated if I can't compete in a place where they think is overbooked? That's where the what's it called? The criteria for cutting people off now comes in. You cannot be a doctor and not know how to speak with patients.
Yeah.
You cannot be a doctor and not know how to do proper checks. You cannot be a doctor and not use medical terms. You get what I'm saying? So even if there's 200 of us applying for the same cardiology, there's going to be certain other criteria that are going to use to cut us down, which is why we have to separate the certificate, which is just a medical degree, from your personality as a doctor, which shows you are really educated, you're schooled in the aspect of life you've chosen or in the path of life you've chosen to have a career.
But in this instance, what I'm trying to bring out is that, see, there are a lot of people who are not really. I don't know. I know that you're in your final year as a medical student. I'm just in my third year. Probably you are obviously more experienced. But this is my own understanding. Everybody tends to have a place that he tilts to as a doctor. Personally, I know that there is nothing in this world that would make me to become a pediatrician. I can't deal.
Sorry, let me ask you a question. What field do you want to do?
See, the thing is, I'm inconclusive at the moment, but I can rule out. Maybe I have not been able to pinpoint, but I can rule out at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't tell what the future holds.
I get your drift, but then I don't want us to lose the.
Yeah, we're holding on to it. I'm coming
not
to
even
it.
the question, the topic,
I'm
the
coming to
certificate
it.
versus
Yeah.
education.
Yes, I'm coming to
Yeah.
I'm coming to it. Now, these people, having had the certificate, they are medical doctors, they have the certificates. Now, they know that this aspect, though it is where everybody is going, it is not their strongest side. It is not their strongest suit. And they know that I am better at this.
Yeah.
Now, if you have acquired education well enough, if you have been into this, if you have allowed education pass through you while you're in school, it will give you reasoning enough to know that it is not as if you're not able to compete. But when you compete with disadvantages, you are likely not going to win.
Okay.
I don't know, there's this famous saying that if you judge a monkey by how well he swims against the fish, it will never believe that he has any talent.
Okay,
So,
I can see that this topic is really deep. And if we go on and on and on, we're going to really stay here forever. So I want to ask just one question. Would you say you're in school, and this is a personal question to you guys, would you say you're in school because of the certificate or because of the education?
implicating question.
Because I know that both of you have your own professions
Based,
and
based on the context of what we're saying,
yeah.
I'm in school to get a certificate to be a medical doctor. But now it's now up to me to prove to people that I'm educated as a medical doctor. You see now, you don't get to prove to people you have a certificate. Now what people see when you've been put in a position to leave the certificate you have is how people know whether you're educated or not. It's like saying, for instance, I go to the bank and the girl at the teller can't speak proper English or she's being rude. What people most likely will say,
So
why
what
are you
you say,
acting
what
like
we
you're
say is your own.
uneducated?
So what would you say is your reason for being in school?
Okay, I'm in school to, acquire knowledge.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're in school to acquire
Acquire
knowledge.
knowledge,
And
yeah.
what about you?
Both.
Both, right?
Yes, yes.
Which one is more?
One is a platform for you to show the other.
Okay, but which one is?
Education obviously is more important.
Okay, I know they will say education, but
No, but then Treasure, you can't
I'm not
exactly,
so
no,
sure that
you
that's
can't
what's in their
exactly separate
mind.
them in the context of a question. But
Okay.
then if we had to think deeper into the true meaning of both, see, there's knowledge. You acquire knowledge in school. How you use the knowledge is wisdom, which shows exactly how educated you are. You get, so
Yeah.
there's always levels to them. One of them, which is the certificate knowledge, it puts us in the same category.
Yeah.
We're all doctors or we're all bankers, but then there's, I mean, all the stuff that, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. Thank you guys for coming, and I'm sure it was really interesting to have
Of
you
course it
people
was,
on the
of course it
platform.
was.
I'm sure the most important thing, like you said at the end, is both of them are important. The education and the certificate. And I would say for people out there, if you have the opportunity to go to school, go to school. There's no time that is being wasted. A lot of people go and start whatever they are doing, their dreams, their passion. No, they think if I go to school, I'm wasting time. You're not wasting time. Go and get educated because it's going to help you. Do you understand? To be knowledgeable. Well, until next time, this is Sparkles with Treasure, and bye-bye.
I've been slain, I'm never lacking. They be asking me how, let me explain. I've got Jesus, my kind of jazz. I laid all of my sins upon the cross. I've been forgiven, now I'm born again. There's no going back, I'm here to stay. A new creation, that's where I am. Who is set free is free indeed. All I had to do was pray. Ask, believe, and trust in Him every day. What a glorious God He is. Showering His blessings over amazing grace. Let us pray, pray, pray. Let us pray, pray, pray. Copy SC Oluwami, King of Kings and Lord of Lords, Ancient of Days, Ikoloni, Ezekese, Epupedike. He be doing things that my eyes can see, walking in ways beyond men can think. The same yesterday and today and forever. All I had to do was pray. Ask, believe, and trust in Him every day. What a glorious God He is. Showering His blessings over amazing grace. Let us pray, pray, pray. Let us pray, pray, pray. I have God in me, and God is everything I need. I have God in me, and God is everything I need. I have God in me, and God is everything I need. I have God in me, and God is everything I need. All I had to do was pray. All I had to do was pray. Ask, believe, and trust in Him every day. Let us pray, pray, pray. Let us pray, pray, pray. Let us pray, oh, pray. Let us pray, pray, pray.
I'm Ayaya Odonwu, and you're watching Sparkles with Treasure.